Hey, good Monday morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and what I figure will be a big week, definitely a big week of weather on the way. If you could hit the share button, I'll explain everything to you. I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple, and it is pretty simple. When we get into these big storms, um, you know, you don't have to know exactly if it's going to be 10 inches or 12 inches or 20 inches of snow. You just know it's a lot of snow and could be a blizzard conditions too. So let's get into it. I wish I could see some folks. So somebody say hi this morning, please. And let's get to it. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. So we do this every morning about this time. So if you like the MLive Facebook page and you go to it a few times over a couple of days, you'll get alerts as to when we're on live. All right, so here we go. Today, no travel problems. And the gist of this whole thing is travel today, okay. Tuesday, pretty good. Wednesday, good. Thursday, even some spots in Michigan will be okay because we could get into what I call the warm sector of the storm in part of the state. The other part of the state will be in the cold sector, and that will be nasty. And then the Arctic air crashes through. I'm still looking for a flash freeze in places, and we're still looking for heavy snow. We're still looking for 50-mile-an-hour gusts, too, eventually by Friday into Saturday. Okay, but for now, dry conditions, a little freezing drizzle reported up in the northern part of the state. Hey, we're 385 strong. Good morning, Amy from Chesaning. Brian Swag, good morning from Fife Lake. And Ray White, always the doubter out there. Believe the snow when I see it. We always got those people, even though I've been talking about it now for about 7 days. All right, so there's a storm systems out across the Pacific, and it's very active there. So what we're going to look at now, what we've had going on is we know that the European model is usually the most accurate. I wrote a post about why, so I won't get into that. The GFS model is the US model. It's not good. Our government has enhanced it, improved it over the last few years. No, 5, 6, 7 days out, almost worthless compared to the European. Now, guess what? The GFS looks a lot like the European over the last 2 runs as the storm gets closer. Imagine that. So, the tracking of the low pressure center will be everything as to what you get where you're going to be. Remember, the Big Red L. East of the Big Red L, the warm air will wrap up into it. It'll be rain for the first half of the storm. That lowers snowfall totals dramatically. Possibly Detroit, Ann Arbor, Flint, the Thumb, Saginaw Bay City, Midland, first half rain. That also puts you in line for the flash freeze. As the cold front comes through, you go from about 35 to 20 in about a half-hour time period on wet roads. West of the low pressure center, you're in the snow, the heavy snow. Grand Rapids, possibly. Definitely Cadillac, Traverse City, Northwest. So let's look at the European model first. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, trying to explain to you what's going to go on here. Let me just get a good perspective on the map here, and then we'll take a look together at the European model and the US model and see how they're starting to come together, and a lot of the discussions from the experts at the Weather Service mentioning how consistent the European has been on this, and it has, and how the U.S. model is coming around to it. So here's Tuesday. A little light snow across northern lower Michigan, the UP, 1 or 2 inches or so. Here's Wednesday, and if I could just make one point, if you're going to travel on Wednesday. If you're going to travel, change your plans, travel on Wednesday. Thursday could be okay in the warm sector of the storm, but you're running the race against the flash freeze, and you'll have to beat it, and you'll have to hope that we have the timing of that. Hey, good morning, Levon Caraba. And if anybody could share, please, because we're going to get into this right now. So here we go. So this is Wednesday evening, and it's still fine. we're still kind of in the warm sector of the storm. Then this is Thursday morning, and then this is Thursday afternoon. We're still fine. So the message here from the European is it's been slowed down on the precipitation about 12 hours. Now this is at, let me see, this is at Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday 7 p.m. Okay, and look at the low pressure center forming. It's 1,000 millibars. And then it goes to 989 in the middle of the night, Thursday night. And the European showing also most of lower Michigan gets into the warm sector of the storm. Very important on the track. If we get into the warm sector of the storm, the first half is rain. So what would be 3 to 6 inches of snow at the beginning of a storm if we were on the cold side is now rain. Cuts the amounts by 3 to 6 inches. Hard to have a foot of snow if you change to rain is what I've found over 32 years. But that doesn't mean that when it changes, it won't be nasty. So let's go back. So this is 1 a.m. Friday. This is 7 a.m. Friday. And the warm sector hanging on in the northern part of the state, and the Arctic front and the cold air is wrapping around in the southern part. And that's where the flash freeze is. At that point, it's Detroit to Ann Arbor to Grand Rapids, moving northeast. So Friday morning would be a real problem on traveling. You go from wet to frozen roads to snow to wind. Now, at that point, Friday afternoon, we're all into the cold sector. The low pressure center is in Lake Huron, and it's nasty. So Friday is not the day to travel. Again, trying to keep it simple for you. What does this all mean? Wednesday, excellent day to travel. Okay? Thursday, very iffy. Could be a surprise okay day. Could be if we get in the warm sector of the storm. Friday, not a day to travel. 0 day to travel. And Saturday, probably same too. Ray White, you couldn't handle the abuse. Actually, about 90% right. If the car mechanics and the doctors and whatever you do for a living, Ray White, were at our accuracy, then you'd probably trust, your car mechanics and your doctors. Although I have a great mechanic, so I trust him, and he's the only one I would ever go to. So this is Friday afternoon, Friday evening, 7 o'clock Friday evening. Okay, remember my rule of thumb. There will be a 5-mile-an-hour gust for every isobar in lower Michigan. So I'm going to count those for you and give you a good perspective on this. Okay, so this is Friday evening. Hey, 736 strong, please hit the share button. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's see. I got to do the math. 75-mile-an-hour gust? No, probably not. 60 mile-an-hour gust? That's blizzard conditions. So Friday afternoon, Friday overnight, Saturday morning, 7 a.m., still snowing, still blowing 40, 50 mile-an-hour gusts. Excuse me. Hey, thanks for joining us on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Saturday afternoon, still blowing. Saturday evening, still snow showers and blowing. Christmas morning, heavy lake effect on the west side of the state, still blowing, but probably looking at 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Christmas afternoon, Christmas evening. Not done until Monday, but but here comes another one, a quick one on Monday. Then we might start to get in a warming trend late next week. Hello, Deborah from Bloomfield Hills. Carl Yo, thank you. Saginaw to Kalamazoo Thursday morning, probably okay, but we've got to keep an eye on it. Okay, so now remember, sorry, we're 716 strong. Hit the share button. So we've looked at the European, the most likely model. A couple of things I want to bring out. The lakes. The lakes will act as a magnet. Remember, low pressure is just like electricity. It wants to go into the channel where the pressure is lowest. It can ooze into there. Think of it as valleys in the atmosphere. So where does the low pressure center want to track to? Southern end of Lake Michigan, because it's the warmest. Air is rising, low pressure. It'll suck it to southern end of Lake Michigan like a magnet, and then it'll suck it to the southern end of Lake Huron like a magnet, and that's exactly what the European is doing. The low pressure center being sucked to the southern end of Lake Michigan gets much of lower Michigan into the warm sector of the storm, while it's not in Illinois and Wisconsin and Iowa, flat out blizzard all there. Then as the low tracks to southern end of Lake Huron, it continues to strengthen, and then we get in on the wraparound backside of it. So now let's look at the U.S. model, and it's come around. It looks very similar. So there's that little light snow on Tuesday. Here's your Wednesday. Okay, here's your Wednesday, and it's a good travel day. It's cold, but it's dry. Now here's your Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. So the message on this also is it's slower. It's slower on the precip start. So this is Thursday night. Okay, and then this is 1 a.m. Friday, and look at the storm center tracking to southern Lake Michigan. Again, Michigan in the warm sector of the storm, and then here comes the flash freeze. I fear Friday morning. People are going to say, they blew it. They blew it. It's raining. We're not going to have a snowstorm. I knew it. And then here comes the Arctic front as the low moves onto the east, and you go, like I said, from 35 with wet roads to 20. Our only hope would be if the rain stops for an hour or two before the Arctic front pushes through. Then the wind can blow dry the pavement, even in kind of a damp pattern, and then you'd have patchy ice, not the instant flash freeze. But Friday morning is now when I'm targeting a dangerous flash freeze that catches the uninformed. Okay. Hey, good morning, Bill Martin, Gail Welch, Connie Castle. Yeah, Florida. Don't go there. You'll be chilly too. So then this is Friday afternoon, and this is Friday evening, and this is Friday night, and very similar look into Saturday morning. So Friday into Saturday, nasty weather. Christmas Day, the U.S. model moves things a little too fast. Lynn early, really? For Traverse City to Gladwin early morning? No. How about that answer? No. Wednesday. Maybe Thursday if you're lucky. All right, so U.S. model usually moves things a little too fast. European, a little too slow. So that's why I say we'll break down the storm system probably by Christmas night. All right, so, I know you want to know how much snow, and we can start. Okay, so let's start with situational forecasting. What does a storm like this do? Usually in the all snow area of a storm like this, it's 12 inches to 18 inches in the all snow area. Where's the all snow area in this right now? Remember, this can shift some south and east, north and west. Because it's attracted to Lake Michigan, I don't think it'll change much, because there won't be a reason for it to drift back into Wisconsin with a storm center, which would minimize the snow even more in Michigan. I think we got like an attractant that's going to keep us pretty consistent with what it says. Where was I going with this? I forgot now. Okay, 12 to 18 inches in the all snow part. In the part that gets into snow pretty quickly, it's 6 to 12-inch snow usually. And the part that's in the warm sector is a tough one because half of the precip is used up as rain. You get the flash freeze, and then you get probably 3 inches of snow to maybe 6 inches of snow. So what I'm going to show you is the ensemble forecast of the European for total snowfall. That takes 30 different iterations of the starting, kind of waters them down, but I like the look of it just because I also have to play psychology, part psychologist with you. So I think this would be a good place to start and not something that you'd pin down, but it would give you a good feel for how this storm would kind of lay out, okay? And this is through Christmas morning, and you would see 6 to 10 inches west side of the state, 3 to 6 east side of the state, a good start, and it could very well be 2 or 3 inches by the time it's all done in the Detroit area, okay? Slides a little to the southeast, it could be 5, 6, 7 inches in the Detroit area. And this is watered down on the lake effect. So, the 13 in Traverse City could very well be 18 or so. But this gives you a feel, and it really, on this one, it really won't matter exactly how much snow you get because of the wind. You might get officially 10 inches of snow, but with a 50, 60 mile an hour gust, which looks like it could be sustained. And yes, I would say we will have blizzard warnings at some place in Michigan and Illinois and Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota with the storm system, unless something changes dramatically. And let's face it, this is Monday, so we're talking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Two of the best models in the world have to totally make a big change in 72 hours. Details, yes. Exact track, yes. Idea of a major storm over Michigan, no. All right, so there you see that. What do I got lined up for you next? I also wanted to show you if you're traveling to the east, okay? The flash freeze will come down through Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, into the Northeast also. All right, so this is Thursday. This is the European Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Jump back to the old. All right, so this is Friday. So notice in the middle of the night, Thursday night, Friday night, look at what's going on in Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. Rain to snow. You see that little thin pink pixels? That means the flash freeze. And then by Friday morning, that flash freeze races into eastern Ohio through West Virginia to Virginia, North Carolina, and then it moves into the northeast part of the country as we get into the snowy blizzard conditions late Friday into Saturday. I guess we got to look at temperatures too. This is the wind chill, okay? Remember, I wrote about this, that in a situation like this early in the winter with Arctic air, Michigan, we live in the banana belt. We can put on our flip-flops because Wisconsin will be extremely cold. Illinois, Indiana, extremely cold. We get a little bit of help from Lake Michigan, and it's very evident in this wind chill forecast. So we go into Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Look at that. We have wind chills in the upper 20s as we're in rain probably, while Des Moines has a wind chill of 44 below zero. Central Illinois, Peoria, 30 below zero. We go to Friday morning, Saginaw could have a wind chill of 29, while South Bend, Indiana, a wind chill of minus 26, Fort Wayne minus 24. Notice the banana belt of lower Michigan. And then Friday, afternoon, Friday evening, minus 30 in Fort Wayne wind chill, 19 in Saginaw as the storm center wraps into our area. And then eventually by Saturday, our wind chills go down, but remember, our temperatures are held up. Yes, Mark Ashworth, Wednesday. You got the point. Wednesday, the day to travel. Or today or Tuesday. You don't have to jam it all in one. And then we go to Christmas Day, and yes, we will be cold with wind chills below zero. And then eventually we lose the help from the lake, and by Monday morning, we're down to 15 to 20 below zero wind chill, and maybe another little stab of cold early next week. Hey, I do anticipate that we'll have a blizzard warning somewhere in lower Michigan. I anticipate it'll be a fairly widespread area. I anticipate it'll probably be the south central part of the state, Lansing, Jackson, over to Grand Rapids, over to all the southwest corner, definitely. West side up through Big Rapids, Irons. My brother-in-law lives there, so I have to mention Irons. Muskegon, Manistee, to the Traverse City area, all of Northwest Lower, the UP. I believe that's where the winter blizzard warning will be. Saginaw Bay City, Midland? Depends on how the Weather Service office feels on that. The thumb also depends on how the Weather Service office feels on that. But check this out. This is the days since the last blizzard warning. Okay, map right here. This comes out of a great site from Iowa State University, and a guy named Daryl does a great job running this for us meteorologists. So what you're seeing there, days since the last blizzard warning. So in the southeast part of the state, covered by the National Weather Service out of White Lake, it's been 4,338 days. I did the math for you, and that's like almost 12 years since we've had a blizzard warning in the southeast quarter, lower Michigan. The others are 1393 in the north, and Grand Rapids area 1393, which was something like, I think it was like almost 4 years or something like that. Over 4 years, I guess it would be. So it's been a while since we've enjoyed a blizzard warning. Hey, thanks for continuing and sticking with me. Please hit the share button. So, complex situation. The track of the center of the red L will be everything on this. East of it, do not be surprised. You are going to get into a substantial amount of rain and temperatures of 35 to 40, 42 degrees. And do not be shocked. Do not say, wow, they blew it. The first half will be rain. It will cut your snowfall amounts in the eastern half of the state. If it stays on this track, everything's being very consistent now with this. Then the flash freeze on Friday, and then 3 to 6 inches of wind-driven gusts over 50, maybe 60. West side of the state, totally different. And that's why I fear. That's why I fear the uninformed. If you don't tell your friends that are just kind of, let's say, clueless, if they get up Friday morning and they say, wow, it's just raining here, we are going to drive to Grand Rapids anyways. Somewhere about Alma, they're going to be calling you saying, we slid off the road, or we're stuck in a parking lot. So going to change very quickly. I want to emphasize that this is a significant weather situation. This is a significant storm. It's widespread precip. It's a quick changing Arctic blast in places, and it's a lot of snow with a sustained, probably 6 to 12 hours where we could have 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts. That would be a true blizzard. Looking back, some of the Weather Service bigger offices, one called the Weather Prediction Center, is saying this is somewhat similar to a 2009 situation that we had in the Great Lakes. And I think that's probably the last time we had our blizzard warning too. So there's your update. Don't panic. we'll get through it. It actually looks by late the following week, we could be back to 35, maybe 40 degrees with maybe we used up the cold, deep Arctic air for a week or two after that. So thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Try to keep you updated, but it's a simple thing. Travel today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we got to see what the details are and where you're headed. Friday, nope. Saturday, nope. Christmas, nope, because snow and ice won't go anywhere on the roads when we're in the single digits on Sunday. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Keep it tuned to MLive Book Market, and we will keep you updated. Bye.